Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear Review, and today we're looking at the Vero Workhorse Backcountry. This is a watch I've kept my eye on for a number of months. I've looked at this watch, and part of me was like, there's something about this watch, like it is so simple, almost elegant looking on the dial. At the same time, it's like, man, that's really a good outdoors watch. A lot of great specs to this watch. A lot of things I like about this watch. A couple of things I'm not a fan of, and one of them I found out after buying it. It's like, why did I pay for that? Okay, we'll talk more about that at the end. So let's go through the 5 things we typically talk about, which are size, fitment, finish, accuracy, and then legibility and lume, with some conclusions at the end. So size, it's a chunky monkey, folks. This is 44.5 millimeters across, 13.5 millimeters tall. That does not include the double nylon strap underneath. It's technically not a NATO style strap, but it's along the same lines as far as adding some thickness to this watch off the wrist. I don't know about that, because you have such a wide watch. It's 44.5, okay, so you got some width to it, but it's 13.5 tall. That's just the case, and then you add the nylon straps underneath that. It's got to be pushing close to 14. It does look a little bit more round. It just accentuates the roundness of this watch. I would say this is almost like the Seiko Tuna when it comes down to the overall proportions of the watch. We have this just very clearly round watch, and then the lugs are just tucked in a little bit more on this one. What about fitment on this watch? It's excellent. You have a Velcro strap. You're not going to have any issues when it comes down to sizing this watch, changing conditions when it comes down to your wrist. If it's cold outside, hot outside, if you're working or if you're relaxing, Velcro adjustments, super easy to do. It is just one loop, and there you go, right? Super easy. I think it fits really well. I think it does, it feels a little bit narrow at the top, but that's just the way it goes. It's not insecure by any means at all. If you're going to change the strap on this, what you will need to do is you will need to peel back what I would say is kind of this window, this nylon piece right here. You peel this back and you have access to the spring bars underneath. All right. So take those spring bars out. This thing pops right out, and you can put in a different style strap if you want. 2-piece strap, whatever. All right, so that's the fitment side. Let's go to the finish side. This is where I think this watch, it's really interesting. And when you look at this watch, it just has this very simple look to it. The minute hands are slender and thin. You got the hour markers are on the smaller side, but keep in mind there's a chronograph with an internal rotating bezel. Everything's going to be compressed anyway. That's just the way it goes with the chronograph. So you're not going to have huge numbers on here unless you want some of those numbers to disappear, because subdials are going to take over, things like that. So I really like that. The look of the watch overall, I don't know, it caught my attention. I wasn't quite sure if I really liked it, but the more I look at it, the more I wear it, I like the way the layout is. It's for me, without my reading glasses on, I can see everything on here just fine. Man, it's different. I'm going to say it's different, and I like it. I like it a lot. The overall finish too is coordinated. When you look at the chronograph pushers, the start and stop button is orange. The second chronograph hand is also orange. And then the 60-minute time totaler at the 3 o'clock position is also orange. So everything that has to do with the chronograph is orange. When it comes to timekeeping mode, the hour hand, the minute hand are white. You've got the running seconds in stainless steel. Looks like it's a brushed stainless steel arrow on the 9 o'clock side. Very coordinated, and I love the finishing of it. Very simple. The orange goes along very well with the forest green, the Cerakote on the stainless steel case, which means, man, this, for guys who are into guns, Cerakote is a great rust preventative coating on a gun. Then this is on this case, and I think this is fantastic. So whoever engineered this idea on here, I love it. I think this is a great deal on this case. Overall finishing on the crowns, nice size crowns, easy to grip, even for guys like us that have bigger fingers. You've got just enough texture on the end of the crown, on the very edges of the crown to grab it, and then, I mean, it's surprisingly easy. Screw down crown for the timekeeping, screw down crown for the internal rotating bezel, which is huge. A lot of these internal rotating bezel crowns are not screw down crowns, they're push-pull crowns, or they're just rotating. I have a Bulova A15 that it just turns, and so as you're wearing the watch, yeah, that internal hour bezel or that internal minute bezel can move a little bit on you. Sapphire crystal with an AR coating, awesome. You have this wire Bullbar, which pretty much is useless. You can kind of just push these things off to the side. It doesn't really do much. You'd almost have to have the watch land, crystal side down for those bull bars to really do anything. Any kind of lateral movement is going to peel those things right off the top of the case, and it's going to slide down onto the side of the case. So that's one of those things where I look at this as like, why did I pay for that? Because it doesn't seem very effective. I think you'd almost have to have a heavier duty wire, and then maybe if you took the wire, here's my non-engineering idea. If you take this wire and flatten it to the point where it provides rigidity in the same direction where these bull bars may slide down the case, it might stay up there a little bit easier. Also, narrowing this bull bar down, it's just a little too wide. I think just a little bit narrower would be great. Going back to the dial of the watch, there's hardly any text on this watch. So when you look at the face of the dial, all you see is Vero. You don't see a model. You don't see the depth rating. There's no extraneous text on here whatsoever. So to me, this is another piece to this dial that they really preserved a lot of the space on here so it didn't look crowded. You didn't have to search through a bunch of stuff. It's not that Citizen Nighthawk, where you have all the different slide rules and everything on there, which is fine if you're into that stuff. I like it. I've actually figured out how to use it, but it's just not that busy. So it's not busy, it's simple, coordinated. It's just one of those things. It reminds me of the early days of Apple when they came out with the iPod, and they had just simple things that controlled a bunch of different things, and there was not a lot of extraneous buttons and things like that. It was almost elegant how simple it was. I think that's where this is kind of coming in. It's almost elegant how simple this outdoor watch is. But overall, the finish, I really like the finish of this watch. I think it's fantastic. You have a screw-down case back. The strap itself is very simple. One caution about the strap in cold weather, especially if it's snowy weather or if you're in the snow, is that you may get Velcro, snow inside the Velcro, which can be, when it comes down to adjustments, it can be kind of a problem. You may not get as much of the hook and loop together, so you may not have as strong of a Velcro connection when it comes down to cold weather. So just keep that in mind for those of you in cold weather like me. We're getting more snow as I'm talking right now. All right, so let's talk uses. So I think the Vero Workhorse Backcountry is an awesome work watch. For this application, I talked about cold weather. I've just got this single jacket on, but if I had other layers on, I think this would be a little bit tougher to use. At the same time, it's doable. Just got to figure out which clothing to put on, that kind of thing. But overall, this watch did a great job outdoors. No issues with the cold weather. I think it's just a great overall outdoor work watch. This is going to be a watch I wear a lot during the summer. Probably a work watch and definitely a camping watch, casual watch around the house. So some of the uses for this watch are definitely in the work realm for me with my lawn mowing and landscaping business, because it has a Cerakoted case, has sapphire crystal. It is a tall watch, and to me, those two things are necessary for a tall watch, because I don't want to be having a mineral crystal or an acrylic crystal with a watch that's this tall, bumping into a lot of the things that I'm, bumping into when it comes to my contracting work. So for me, that's a great compromise. I think that's a great deal. As far as the cons of this watch, the bull bars on here, they don't do anything for me. Narrow them up, thicken them up a little bit, flatten out these sides, engineer them so they're not as flexible. They don't peel back off the top of the case. Now, what about uses as far as like outside of work and the casual? Could this be a professional watch? Could this be an office watch? Absolutely. Take this Velcro strap off, but put something on that's more professional. A two-piece leather strap would be excellent. A really dark brown, or You might even try an orange rubber strap on here, accentuate the buttons, make those buttons pop out. That might be something else. Although this is not a real bright orange, it's a very subdued orange, which I actually like that color a lot. But I think you could pull off the office work and the professional look very easily. Overall score for this watch is a 9.8 out of 10. I mean, this is a highly recommend watch. I think it's a quartz movement. Accuracy-wise, you have a Miyota quartz movement in here. It's highly coordinated. Cerakote, sapphire crystal, grab and go. This is a great watch for outdoors. So Vero did an excellent job with this watch. And I know they have another colorway out there. They have this color, and they also have one that's a tan color. Both of those, they're just fantastic looking watches. So highly recommend. Put your comments down below what you think of this watch. If you have a Vero, let me know what you have. Start the conversation up. Let's talk a little bit about Vero as a company. This is my first exposure with the company, and I really like this particular watch a lot. So also don't forget to visit my store, realidealgear.com, for watches that I've reviewed that I'm putting up for sale. I can't keep all the watches. Some of them are limited edition watches. Some of them are just watches I reviewed, put them on there. Some of the watches I've purchased used and I've reviewed them and I put them on there for even cheaper. So I think there's a lot of good deals on there. Most of my Casios, if not all of them at the point of this video coming out, have been sold off. So they go pretty quick. But I really appreciate that for those of you who've purchased them. Let me know how it goes. I'm always curious to see what the process is like. So there you go. That's the review for the Vero Workhorse Backcountry. Love the watch. My name is Tim. This has been another Real Ideal Gear review. We'll catch you guys next time. It's I don't know. It's like a virus, man. I'm feeling sick. I'm feeling a fever. And the only cure is this Vero Workhorse Backcountry watch. All right, kind of getting off topic here.